Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hello.
Are we ready for this?
I'm so ready for this.
Look at you. Yes, I like that. Okay, so Willow, I had a thought. Something occurred to me.
Tell me everything.
Okay, so last week we were talking about the Willow Carly comparison. And do you know what else they have in common?
What?
They are both pretending to be with a man they hate as a means to an end.
Oh, crap, that's good. That's good observing.
So I kind of feel like there's something to the whole Willow Carly comparison, like when she was having that conversation with Drew last week at the Port Charles Grill. She obviously misses her, right? Because she's like,
Yes.
Carly used to love me, and she doesn't. Even after I cheated on her son and tried to run away with his kids, even then she was like, don't like you anymore. I don't know what I did to deserve that. So, and then at one point, I withheld medical treatment from her son because my lover told me to. His uncle, but also my lover. So I think like I think
And
she
her
there's
ex-boyfriends.
my gosh, it's so bad. That was also another common point. But yeah, I think that there's something to it between Willow and Carly, like a comparison. And I think there is a bit of an admiration. And I think, again, this is a story about Willow just getting, down and dirty with other people, like shedding that reputation, which best be shed sooner rather than later.
Well, I do think it's like a nod to her long-term journey,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the journey of like being scrappy, coming into her own, owning up to who she is, this like whole innocent act. Like you said, like we like it when a villain just actually owns what they're doing. So
Yeah.
she's
More
going to
fun.
go through her journey. And at the end of the day, why we love Carly so much is her strength, her authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes, she's had a ridiculous past, but now she like really found her own way. She'll still make mistakes, and that's what makes her human. So, like, that's the trajectory I see for Willow with a little more crazy involved.
But that's the thing, like, when Carly makes mistakes, she knows. She's like,
Yes.
"I am going full crazy right now. That's just me." And that's what I mean, like, she's owning it, but I think there's definitely that, Willow, I think her part of her journey is learning to be who she is, and I think when she sees Carly, it's like, Carly is Carly unapologetically, you know what I mean? Like, she's very imperfect. She's not gonna be someone everyone's gonna turn around and be like, "Carly for sure didn't commit the crime," And I think Willow has to be okay with that, people being like, "I think you could commit a crime."
I don't even think Willow knows who she is to begin
No.
with, much less being her authentic self. She went from cult to husband to husband to husband and murder or
I
attempted.
mean, yeah, yeah, she couldn't close the deal. That's too bad. So and, like, it's crazy because now that, like, it's been revealed, and not just revealed to us on, like, the aspect of, let's say, Alexis and Trina and Kai, right? Alexis is
Yes.
the first person we watched go from, "You really think Willow is capable," to, "Willow is capable, and I'm so angry." So we got
Yes.
that little preview, and it's been fun watching everyone else. So we had Nina, right? Nina is also a little obsessed with Michael, and I get it, right? Because in her mind, she's like, "Michael did this to my daughter." So I guess
Yes.
fair. But even that, like, "To my innocent daughter." And I'm like, "This is gonna be hilarious," right? Because Nina's running around believing that her daughter was wronged. And I think that even her conversation and meeting with Drew is very telling of what people think of Willow. Willow is not in a discussion about her own life.
No. She's also in other people's conversations.
Well, yeah, because Nina and Drew are her, like, caregivers. They make decisions for her. Like, Willow is not very involved in her own life, and I think that conversation was just so interesting and how it demonstrates that she's not taking the reins of anything, and I swear, I can't stand this girl when she's like, "I've done everything to get my kids back." I'm like, "Not really,
No.
though." You terrorize Daisy and Sasha and Michael. Then you try to break court orders and find roundabout ways of seeing your kids rather than like focusing on making yourself a better person and maybe trying to have conversations with Michael. I just feel like she wasn't really working on herself. She mentioned therapy, and I'm like, well, I don't think it's effective.
It's bonkers to see, though, just like when we watched Drew and how he can push all our buttons, so is Willow, and she has been for
Yeah.
a while. But these conversations were exactly that. She's breaking court order, whereas when Michael brings her in, it's How can we make this better? How can we think about the kids even in the most uncomfortable situations like today at the cafe? Like it was hilarious as heck. And seeing Willow play the innocent act, but him being like, okay, so like when you're convicted, not if, when you're convicted,
It was so bad. It was so bad. He was
so
like and
bad.
she picked up on it. I'm like, "Is she hearing what I'm hearing?" She's like, "So you're giving me custody of the kids so long as I'm in prison." I mean, it checks the box, right? You're away from Drew, so that's fair. He'll bring
Exactly.
the kids to a prison, just not near Drew.
It was the best, and she's like, still pushing the innocent act and really but the whole conversation was just so fun to watch and so bonkers, but when everybody finds out, like, I can't wait to see the slow reveal, like a Chase, like
Oh,
Drew,
yeah, because
like Nina. Oh, it's
Because
gonna be
they followed
delicious.
through on that, right? We talked about, like, the nuance of these dynamics, and Tracy started to notice, like, his behavior, and we actually saw it play out. Tracy had a conversation, and I'm on Tracy with this one because he's like, "She accused me." I'm like, "No, she
No.
asked you. She asked you." And even when Brooklyn tried to point out the parts in which she agreed with, and I love them as a couple, right? The fact that she said, "I'll always be in a united front with you," and they're
Yeah.
having the hard conversations, I just feel like he still didn't get it even when
Nope.
Brooklyn was talking to him. I mean, she was pretty gentle. I just think that if that was
Mhm.
my husband, I wouldn't be so gentle about it. I'd be like, "What are you thinking? What are you doing?"
It's gonna be great. Yeah, it was very
I can't wait.
frustrating. It was
I
so
can't
frustrating.
I honestly I think, like, Chase is the most ugh right now with this whole thing,
Yes.
and I can't wait to see that, like, I just think for him, it's realizing that Willow manipulated him, and I don't know what he's gonna do with that, like, right now, he's like, "Oh, no, she's so innocent, she was framed." What is he gonna do? Because I could see Chase being like, well, justifying why she did it, 100%, you know what I mean?
True.
Like, he tormented her, everybody has their breaking point. But I don't know how he's gonna feel about this part. Not only did Willow commit the crime, it's not like she forgot she did it or
Yes.
she committed the crime and actively manipulated you. Like, think about the time she went to your house crying to see the kids and all
Yeah.
those things that she did. She was never innocent. And everyone clutching their pearls at the thought of Michael framed Willow. Like, I wonder,
Oh.
are you gonna feel the same way? Because ultimately, that's what Willow did. Willow shot Drew and has been
Mhm.
trying to point the finger at Michael and has been supporting that narrative. She did so on the stand. So are you going to have that same outrage to Willow as you do for Michael? Like even today with Dante, when Dante was like, okay, you have your blind spots, and I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to recognize maybe I had mine. I don't believe that Dante did. Dante was not shy
Same.
about, his brother being a suspect at all. But now he's questioning himself. So now he's looking at it like, was I biased too? And then Chase was like, yeah, I think you absolutely should look into your brother's guilt and hops away, happy as a clam.
Right? Oh,
It's a lot. It's a lot. And so, like we said, Alexis knows, and she knows because of Trina and Kai. Like, I don't know. Like, we know why they went to Alexis because it was the safest. But I'm
yes.
just saying they could have gone the letter route like Martin. They could have done the anonymous thing. Like they could have
True.
like I'm just saying if they I understand Trina and Kai are outraged because there's a reality of like what's right and moral versus the law. And I can understand that on their behalf. They're young. But at the same time, too, I think it was a lot the expectations they placed on Alexis. Because if you wanted someone to move against Willow, you'd have to go to Michael.
Yes.
Spinelli, you could have went to Jocelyn, you could have went to the DA. And I understand that there are legal implications there, but helping the
Mhm.
DA with their case that they're afraid is tanking, I'm pretty sure that was incentive for them to look
Yes.
the other way at your crimes.
1000%. This is Port Charles' crime.
Exactly, and I think they would rather put Willow away than deal with those 2, not to mention, like, how the DA feels about Drew, and everybody
Exactly.
already knew about the blackmail.
Mhm.
What did you think about the process of Alexis realizing?
Gosh, it took less than 5 minutes to
Absolutely,
figure it.
because, that's what I mean, like, when they were having that conversation and she kept saying, "Well, you can't prove it. There's no proof." I'm like, "Phone records, though." And then the moment they left, she turned around to look for the proof that she told them didn't exist.
I loved it, but honestly, I think part of her was like, she didn't wanna believe it, like, she was still in
Right.
denial, and when she remembered, "Oh my gosh, there's a phone log," like, I don't necessarily feel that she was lying to them. I do feel that she was being honest with them as best as she could be given the circumstances and buying into this whole Will of Innocence Act. And like you said, we saw the crumble, we saw the demise, we saw the
Yeah.
fact that her putting all of this together. And of course, my favorite was her conversation with Diane. One, we got to see Diane,
I
but she had to
know.
remind her of what her obligations are to her job, to the bar.
I know. I'll just say this, Alexis's face when she heard Wiley on the other end was just
Yes, beautiful.
amazing, but when she was talking to Diane, again, love seeing her, but when they were ending their conversation and
Mhm.
Diane's like, "You know what you need to do?" And I was like, "What?" Because at that point
I know,
because
right?
Alexis is so adamant about her ideals, right and wrong, and the
Yes.
fact that she knows that she did it. Like, the fact that she entertained throwing the case, I'm like, "You cannot do that." Like, I honestly felt like she was gonna be like, "I don't care if I'm a lawyer anymore." Like, I didn't know what she was gonna do, and I felt there was no question. I truly was like, "You need to go in there and defend her," but she did it with a lack of enthusiasm.
No, but this is the thing. So what I loved is that was so audience directed because we have been watching this for decades upon decades. I felt like we know Alexis, like she is totally not giving it her all. And she was like, she's giving it her all. And like, she
I
really
know.
isn't though. And that, okay, what did you think of the slip, the purposeful name slip?
I rewound it because 'cause I'm like, "Wait, what's going on here?" And then I'm like, "That's crazy." She's like,
Right?
sorry, my
My
mistake."
bad.
I couldn't believe she said that, and he goes, "Oh, my client's at the top of my mind. That's why I called her a murderer. Let's get back on track, everybody."
Not murderer. Okay.
Complete insanity. Wait a second, was there one charge against Willow? Was
I
there
believe
one
there was
charge?
one charge because when they read it, they only read
I know.
the for one thing.
Because part of me in my head is wondering, when we go back on Monday, is there like a part 2 to this situation?
Oh.
I don't know, because I didn't know what was gonna happen because they were like I'm like, "Are we gonna have time for the verdict?" And then they would come back to the courtroom for literally a few seconds and then leave again. And I
So
was like,
annoying.
"Please, please just put us out of our misery." And then when they read the verdict and it said not guilty, that's the point where I'm like, "Okay, so we don't want her off screen in jail because it's like, how do you put sentence her, have her in jail, and then have her out? What's the loophole? You'd have to find the whole,
Exactly.
like, insanity defense. So at this point, there's, like, a double jeopardy thing that's I feel like the direction we're heading. But where is the Daisy stuff gonna play out? Because that has to come back out. And I really don't want the digging into Willow and finally uncovering and wrapping that bit of Willow information. I don't necessarily want another court case. And I felt that Alexis laid it out for us that they're not gonna like so soon try to indict Michael and arrest him and then try another person without solid
Okay.
evidence. Like she said, there has to be like no doubt, not even reasonable doubt if they bring charges to Michael. And I don't think
Mhm.
that there's, like, enough there.
Yes.
So, I'm just curious, like, how is this gonna come out? Like, we saw Kai connect with Michael at the
Drew did not
courthouse.
like yeah, and Drew's eyes
No.
were bugging out of his head.
And so you have Drew who saw Kai shake Michael's hand. You have Drew see, like, Chase thank Alexis for all she's done for Willow. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen because, like, if Drew starts to be a type of way with Kai or shifts his attitude to him or shows
Uh-huh.
him more of his true colors, like, I mean, I can see maybe Kai wanting to do the right thing and tell Michael because now the focus is on Michael. Like Willow, her trial is over. And I feel like Trina and Kai's biggest nightmare is now Michael could go down for this.
Exactly.
How do you think this is going to come out?
Oh, that's a really good question because I was looking at everybody's reaction during the court case, and I was like, "Okay, does the ADA see Alexis's reaction? Because it's not a good reaction."
No.
Like, it was such a, like, "Oh, I can't believe it went in this direction," because now she has to live with this as opposed to doing her best. Yes, Scout's at risk. She was kinda, like, leaving it up to how this would all come to be. But you're right, like, I'm trying to think, like, if everything goes sideways with Kai or with Chase, like, they're the only ones that know. So it's like, if Drew pushes Kai any more, I don't think he's gonna care anymore. I definitely think he's on the side of, like, I will deal with the consequences of what
You
happens next.
For sure, he loves telling the truth. When he thought that Trina's parents were gonna frame Drew in some capacity, again, he didn't know the whole story, but when he thought somebody was being wronged, like, he told Drew. So I think that, like, I don't think it'll take much to push Clyde. I think him moving toward Michael is a sign that like he's gonna crumble soon.
I agree, and I'm almost envisioning, like, because, Drew or maybe Michael will entice him with a job, so to get him away from Drew in that environment, just out of the kindness of his heart, like, Michael just seeing an opportunity to help Kai, and
Yeah.
that just kinda pushes Drew, like, I can see how this whole thing can play out with the 3 of them.
Man, like, I mean, Drew hasn't calmed down at all, so who knows
No.
what he's capable and what he's willing to do, but again, I can't wait for the truth to come out. Like Alexis has been turned, right? And even
Mhm,
her, it's funny when she has to sit there and listen to Chase run his mouth. And I love that story. They started the story where Tracy pointed out that like weak point, this that Chase is taking that could very well threaten his marriage and the family. I think
mhm.
I think that's so like so important. And I mean, even between him and Brooklyn, I think that's like a huge story. So I really can't wait for this to kind of unfold even further because it's like the Willow Michael saga isn't done. I mean, also including Drew, because now we have custody. So this is going to keep going and it's going to keep escalating. So I mean, I think it'll keep heating up and it will boil over. I just can't wait.
I know it's all gonna be really, really exciting. Just there's so much more to look forward to. Felt like a true Friday ending, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, look, Sonny and Alexis made peace, and it was really interesting because Sonny, like when he calmed down, he ended up using the exact same argument Alexis made, that Michael has resources and Scout is just a little girl. I guess I hope that whatever the outcome is, grants Alexis maybe way more access to Scout, and maybe Drew will cross a line that will allow Alexis to get Scout because she did have that conversation with Sunny about her vulnerability, right? Michael is a parent to his kids, so he has the ability to fight for them. And Alexis has little room to kind of work in that sense. So I'm hoping that whatever goes down, whatever pushes Drew, that he crosses a line that gives Alexis that space to maneuver to get Scout.
Well, it's like between the blackmail for Portia, which he could possibly go to court for, the fact that he married his murderer or attempted murderer, like
Mhm.
there's got to be stuff there. And there's a lot of rumors flying around the internet. I mean, it is Port Charles, and timelines for me are blurry.
Okay.
About the rumor mill is, could you imagine? Okay, one. Remember when Sam died, there was the will that nobody looked at, the new revised will. So, what if there's something in there that speaks to something about Scout or pertaining to custody? What if Drew's not actually her dad?
What?
I know, that's, like, the biggest rumor. So, the
But
2
whose
rumors
would she
are
be?
okay, so people are saying Jason, but I know the timeline doesn't work,
No.
like, at
No.
all, but it is poor Charles. But for me, the one that I like is that he's not actually biologically her father in some weird, miraculous Port Charles way, or that there's something in the will that just stipulates something. I don't know what it would be, but there has to be something for
But it
Alexis to
has
be able to have custody of her.
but it has to be huge. I totally forgot about new, old, whatever will for Sam, but I mean, it has to be big because parents have a lot of rights. You can't just have your kid like what Drew and Willow tried to do. "I'm gonna leave you my kids."
Exactly.
Like, no, that's not how it works.
And do you remember, like, Portia really was it Portia a really long time ago wanted Brad to run a bunch of tests on Drew's blood, and then that just kind
Yes,
of got,
yes,
like,
yes.
tossed away, so I feel like there's tidbits to work with here.
Speaking of tidbits or,
Oh,
like,
boy.
things that haven't been wrapped, okay? What is going on, okay? One thing I learned about cold fusion,
Yeah.
okay, from Marco is that when Marco was talking to Britt, he was like, "We
Mhm.
gotta hustle on this." I just didn't realize how competitive cold fusion was.
Neither did I.
So, there's that, like, Marco is in deep. He was very much like, "I'm not in my dad's business," but now he's, like, literally handling Britt, being like, "You have to move in." We have to live together.
You have
You
to be
have to
my
live in my
roomie.
basement. Okay? Move into my basement, never see your family again, and let's work on this cold fusion, you and me together. And Brit, I attitude about it so weird. Like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, you watched him shoot, like
I
Jen
know.
shoot Dalton in front of your face. Like she knows there's no out no matter what she's doing.
Yes.
So again, this whole storyline, I can't I can no longer follow. I feel like, okay, this is layered. Oh, this is another piece, but I feel like each piece takes me further and further away. Like, remember how
Yes,
Pikeman
thank
was a
you.
road to nowhere?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't even remember where this started. I remember there was a Sonny at one point, and I remembered other Michael, was leaving the show. There was some guy named Jens. He did some kidnapping. He comes. We saw a scene of him after Sonny's penthouse blew up. So we're like, probably Jens did this. And he's some kind of Sonny's rivalry. But then all of a sudden, Britt's on an island back from the dead. So we tied her in with that. Then Nathan came back from the dead. Then Jens is involved in some kind of lab thing. And Dalton. And we're like, oh, okay, he's not just your regular international mob boss. He's also a scientist. How does his international criminal world, apparently it crosses Faison's. Now you have people in a basement. Then there's like the WSB. And then we're like, we need to kidnap Anna as a result of this storyline. Why? We don't know yet. We don't know
Valentine.
yet.
Don't forget Valentine.
Yeah. So we don't know why Anna needs to be kidnapped, but they just decided, you know what? She's going to be the center of this for a little bit. And then there's a whole Joss Carly thing and worried about Lucas. And now Lucas is living there. We're like, oh, Lucas is living there. And then Ava gets involved. She's like, I'm his art dealer and maybe more. And then Valentine returns as a result of the whole Joss storyline. And then he's like, you know what? Something I didn't tell you in Steinmauer? I know Jens.
FYI.
I'm connected. We're all connected. And we're like, so Valentine and Jens now are connected. And then the director? So then we knew that Jens was not working alone because he kept making reference to like another person. He had met Dalton in a church once and then referred to like another person. And it wasn't clear, but I think the other person is the director. Like, are you guys partners? Like, who's really in charge? What? Second in command or secondhand? Is that a saying? Because I wrote it down. I wrote the director of the WSB is Jens' second-hand man. What is it? He's number 2?
His right-hand man? Maybe that's
Oh, okay. And then the director shows up at Brennan's. And then Brennan's goal is to get cold fusion information from Britt for the WSB. But I feel like the WSB is on top of it. And then he's the director, which seems to be Brennan's superior. And then when he was like, you're holding back, he's like, I'm not going to tell you. And you can't make me. So that saved him. Because if this was normal and Brennan recognized the director as his boss, he would have said, I have an in, it's Britt. But he can't. He can't do that because it would mess up whatever roommate situation they want to create between Britt and Anna. And then they're like, okay, we don't know why we took Anna, but we did. And now that she's in yoga pants and chilling, we are going to make her think Obrecht is her nurse.
And she's in Paris.
Yes. And then we're going to make her think that Faison is alive in the microphone. Because if Faison was alive, he'd definitely want a face-to-face with Anna. Like, he'd be in the room with her.
Yes.
Okay? But he's in a microphone. Why this is happening to Anna specifically? I don't know. And then the director tells Brennan, hey, we lost her. She's irrational. She's a woman. What are you going to do?
She's a woman.
She ran away. And then he's like, I don't know that she would do. No, she did. Trust me. Trust me. She doesn't even care about her granddaughter. Like, who even cares about her condo?
Yes.
I don't know who's paying the bills. I don't know who's paying the bills. But feel free to live in the condo in your bikini. Whatever. No judgment. A little bit of judgment on those scenes.
Tiny bit. Yeah.
But what on earth is this storyline? You might as well throw Pikeman into it. Bring Pikeman back, please. I feel like that would be funny because this is not a story anymore. So I feel like let's just have a little fun here. Bring Pikeman back.
Honestly, the way, that's how my brain feels. I don't know what's going on.
Nope.
Everybody's involved. I'm confused to all heck.
No one knows where Nathan was, and no one cares. Everyone's like, Britt, where have you been? You've been at the 5 Poppies. Well, she knows a lot. She definitely knows about the cold fusion. Like, people just sort of backed off of Nathan. Okay, you're back. You hang out with Lulu.
You guys just chill and fall in love and explain that to your best friend.
Okay, so him and Lulu, this. No, I'm at the hospital with James. I should call his dad. Not his grandma, who works at the hospital, guardian, and Spinelli, who he lives with. Like, Spinelli, Felicia, everybody takes care of James on a daily basis. They live together. But let's call Nathan. And Nathan had his first parenting gig at the hospital.
Yes, he did.
Without Felicia, without Spinelli, he was just like, today I'm going to parent. I'm going to parent him based on Lulu's advice. And I'm like, this is something.
This is new.
What I will say about this whole thing between her and Nathan is, again, we talk about this. When Lulu came back, it was pure chaos, but we're actually getting Lulu's coma experience through the Nathan
Yes.
storyline.
I do love that.
So if you want to tell a coma story, you need another coma person.
You need to call my buddy.
Yeah. So those two are just coma bonding more and more and more.
Getting real sketchy.
Yeah. So I don't know how Nathan is involved in cold fusion per se. And I don't think we're ever going to know.
Are we
I
involved in cold fusion?
I'm starting to believe that I'm involved in cold
I think
fusion.
I am.
So I think what's going to happen is Nathan is just going to stay in his lane. He's going to stay in the Lulu lane. He's going to parent James. Maybe Maxie will wake up and then one day he'll leave and no one will understand why this ever happened. That's the end.
We could try
Okay.
to distract us with shiny things and move on to a different storyline.
Yeah. Okay. So talk about like, you said shiny, but there's
I did.
other crazy distractions like a shotgun came out of nowhere. So what I love about the Quartermaines is they reinstated cocktail
Yes.
hour. And I think that is so cool. That is so cool. So they're having their little get together and Ned never told them. So he finally tells them what Drew did, which is horrible. And the
So
one thing I'm
messed up.
annoyed by is that no one pointed out that Tracy saved Drew. She could have
Yes.
walked away and been like, I think you're faking. I don't think that's
Right?
your blood. And she could have left him. But she didn't, like something was wrong and she called 911. And Drew could have called 911. And as everybody pointed out, weeks passed where he came to learn that it was a real heart attack. And then
Yes.
Drew shows up and Tracy realizes what Martin did. And like, that's the thing. Martin does this thing and doesn't
Yes.
tell Drew. Like his boss is Drew. He doesn't want to work for Drew and it would win favor with Drew. But I just think he's lost his mind going after
Mhm.
Tracy because his attempts of going after Tracy, they don't really only hurt her. And that was something I felt that did not come out in the Laura Tracy Martin scenes is
Yes,
that while
thank you.
Laura was trying to broker peace between them, I think what should have been pointed out is that Martin is irrational and he hates Tracy. But every time he's tried to target Tracy, so many other people have been impacted and hurt.
Exactly. Thank you.
And the fact that he even did that and Drew didn't even know. And then, like, you have Olivia being like, let's make peace with Drew. And then she walks down with a shotgun.
Love it. Love it hard.
I love that Tracy gave it to her. That's big,
That's so
right?
cute. So funny and pretty amazing. And that was the only time I appreciated Chase this week because he was like, I'm on suspension. Like, I don't care.
I don't see anything. When you're on
Mhm.
suspension, your eyes.
Blind.
I cannot see. So, like, I love that about Tracy because, like, she's really trying to take on her role as protector of the
Yes.
family and understanding that she can only push her family so far. So it's like she relented on the whole pressing charges because she's not going to press charges because they would implicate Ronnie and the family doesn't want that. And the fact that she
Yes.
extended the shotgun to Olivia, like a family heirloom. Heirloom? Heirloom.
Those are birds.
I have a lot of heirlooms, to be clear. They're activated right now. And so what I could not stand with Olivia sometimes is when they were talking about the family heirlooms, like these were not necessarily pricey things, but
Yes.
meaningful things. And she's
Yes.
like, you and your tchotchkes. And I'm like, what are
So
you
mad.
talking about? Like, you're like, they're just, he stole their personal things, like their
Thank you.
deceased relatives' things. And it's just really weird, this role that Olivia plays, being like, ew, you guys are rich, you're awful. Like, she immediately doesn't take their side. And it's funny because this is the storyline we're seeing with Chase, is that he's not
Yes.
kind of for the family at times,
Yes.
showing up
For
with
his
his
own
pot
end goal.
friends. Yeah. Acting out warrants. Like, give your fam a heads up.
Right? Or get out
Just
of Dodge like Dante.
exactly. So when it comes to Tracy and Martin, they have a truce. But when are they going to become lovers?
I can't see it anymore. He's
I
pushed.
know. It's too bad. It's really bad now.
It's so bad. And remember, I think it might have been a couple of weeks ago when Tracy was talking to Michael about Jacinda. And she's like, I've been through a lot of really bad relationships.
Yeah.
I've been manipulated a lot. I've been with basically a lot of bad people. And I just don't want to see that happen to you, to Jacinda. Like, it was a very honest and raw conversation. And then
Yeah.
to have somebody like Martin who's tried to basically, am I allowed to say this, screw her over too many times. I cannot, unless there's like this huge grand gesture or some really big change of heart for him, I cannot get past what he has done.
No,
And nor should she.
I think the opportunity was when Stella was in trouble because they need a common goal.
Yes.
And that would have been an avenue to have a common goal and to fight. And I mean, there's nothing like that on the horizon so far for Tracy and Martin. I mean, their rivalry is kind of entertaining. So, I mean, at least that we still get them in that way. And I mean, maybe this will soften because Laura basically said, I value you both and I need you
Yes.
in my life. And I feel like that is something that Tracy can relate to the concept of loss and how family is important. So, I guess we'll see if things really soften and if Martin can really let,
Yes.
I don't know if he can let go.
I don't know if he can let go either.
You know what I think Carly should have done with the whole Brennan thing?
Okay, I was like, "Would he be with Valentine? Kiss him?" Yes, but no, continue.
Okay, about her and Valentine,
That
okay?
scene.
Like, they're not even doing anything, but they're doing everything. Like,
Okay,
when they're
so my favorite line before you continue, I must say, when they're plotting and planning,
yeah?
he's like, she's I think he said to Carly, no, Carly said to him, "Do you want me to go now?" He's like, "Well, unless you wanna keep staring at each other's eyes or staring into each other's eyes." I was like, that alone."
I did not catch that, but I
Yes,
am
girl.
so into them that I think I'm gonna have to go back just to hear that line and watch their scenes. But I was laughing because when he was trying to get her to like do the thing, he was like, okay, I know you, Carly. And I'm like, no, you don't.
So
Like he
cute,
acted like
so
they've known
cute.
each other for forever. And I
Yes.
love that he just held her feet to the fire. Like she was feeling unsure. He's like, no, you got this, which is very different, right? Because Jason would have talked her out of shenanigans and Valentine
Yes.
talked her into it and was like, I think you can shenanigan and do it well. Get it together, Carly. So that was interesting. And then she does it. I was so scared she would get caught.
Right?
And if I were her, I would have cried so I can get out faster
Honestly.
because she gave him room to like express his like love anger. He was
Yes.
like angry. He's like, I love you. I could have told you. And I was like, honestly, it's still yelling to me. It doesn't feel loving. And I would have rather just fake cried. I made him feel guilty and be like, all I wanted to do is love you. And then I love that she did that. Oh, you're a spy. Oopsies. I forgot. And then just be like, I'm going to go and just leave. But lucky he got called away because she doesn't want to
I
spend more
know.
time with him than she has to.
No.
So while Carly didn't cry, she navigated the situation, but Valentine still felt like it wasn't good enough.
Okay, but should we comment on his way of
Oh,
handling his own
yeah.
situation?
Yeah, his was really yeah, that was actually pretty bad. Like, Ava caught him, has a full-blown conversation, but this is what I told myself because I, like, obviously have, like, rose-colored glasses when it comes to Valentine. Was like,
Yes.
"Oh, I see what's going on." Valentine was seen in air quotes by Ava, and then Ava tells Jens, and I'm like, he has them right where he wants them because he told Carly.
See?
Because he told Carly, like, I
Right.
don't know how to approach Jens yet. And in my head, I was like, I think he just did. So that's my interpretation of Valentine's successful mission on Spoon Island.
I do love it, but I loved how, like, cool, calm, and collected he was and just, like,
Yeah.
hanging out. He's like, "Oh, tell Nina hi." "Oh, maybe not." It's just I loved all of that.
I know, right? But freaking Ava wanting to run to
Oh, what a
Jen,
stinker.
she obviously wants to curry favor with him and she wants to knock Lucy out. It's like, what is she trying to do? Because, like, what does she want to be involved in specifically? Like, she knows exactly who he is. She's been out of the crime scene for a long time. And I feel like when I saw Jen's talking to Jordan, I feel like she's close to getting on the in, right? Because when he
Yes.
said to Jordan, you don't know what I'm capable of, I'm like, oh, I think it's going to happen. It sucks because so far, Jordan's been liking the perks of the money.
I know.
And the moment she catches a crime, she's gonna have to say bye-bye to that penthouse, or she better be squirreling away her funds.
Oh, I get it now. That's why she's hooking up with Curtis. She wants a two-income household to hold on to the penthouse.
She's playing the long game.
Exactly.
We see what
Oh,
you're
I
up
get it
to.
now. I get it now. Thank goodness, because it was making no sense.
I swear that is like it's the equivalent to how long we tried to rationalize Felicia working at the hospital.
So true.
Like I feel
We
like
we
to this
still are.
we're like, okay, so they're gonna do a reveal soon. It's been a few years, but she's gonna have been undercover this whole
Slow burn,
time.
guys. Slow burn.
She's actually the commissioner of the police. She's in the WSB. Like, it just makes no sense, as does Jordan and Curtis right now. So, yeah. So, Valentine and Carly fire. My favorite line from them was actually when they were having a conversation. This doesn't ring really well anymore because I don't remember what the line was before that. But she says to him, I'm going to sleep so much better tonight. Like, because he had said something to her. But I don't remember what that was. But that was a line I liked. I like their banter.
The line before the line, you remember?
I don't remember the context. Ta-da! Anybody can do a
We
podcast.
did it, guys. I think we did it though, just so like we wrap this up.
Okay, so contrast.
Contrast.
Valentine Carly, Jason Britt. Okay, so Brad tries to
Yeah.
intervene, and I'm sorry. That was never going to work, right? It was one thing
Never.
to kind of warn Jason off. I think you would have hit a chord if you had said, you'll never prioritize her the way that she needs to be. I feel like if
Yes.
he hammered that point, maybe something could have happened there. But also, I guess Jason really does not care for Brad. But when Brad went out on a limb saying, no, she doesn't want to talk to you right now, I'm like, you had none of that leverage. Like, there was
Right?
no way on this planet Britt would have walked away with you. And I thought it was interesting because Elizabeth is all of a sudden, what? Playing Jason? Miss Neutral? I'm not getting involved. Because when she talked about Willow and saying Willow did so many things wrong, I think it made sense of things for me because when she was interacting with Willow and she was being her friend, she was being really gentle, not judging. And it made
Mhm.
even me go, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Should you confront her a little bit? Judge her a little bit? Shake her
Be a
out of
little
her,
judgy. Where's that Elizabeth that was a little judgy?
like shake her out of her stupidity. But she was all like, no, I'm going to give Willow space to live her life. Since when? But that's her thing now because even with Brad, she's like, let them be. Let them be. And I was like, okay, all right. So I needed that scene with Brad to make me understand her friendship with Willow and where she
Okay.
stood. But I thought it was cute. She was talking to Brad like they were friends and she doesn't really care for Brad, but they had a cute scene.
I know, she had really great conversations, even though she had, like, minimal scenes, she had that really great one-on-one
Yes.
with Jason, like, "Are we still buds? Like, we still cool?"
I will say gold star for Elizabeth for navigating zero storyline because she
All
does not
true.
seem right? She doesn't seem lost. She had 2 good scenes this week, even though she doesn't have a storyline.
She's not looking for stores, she's integrated and woven into the fabric of life
Because we see people with no
all
storyline
the
and how
time,
lost,
looking for it around the
just
corner. Dr. Gannon, peek around the corner. I'll soap your kid. I'll soap your kid. I'll sew up your kid if you want. I can't.
so then we have the, like, hatchet range or axe throwing or whatever. So what did you think about the Joss Carly scenes?
I love it because every time they're talking, it's always in code.
Yes.
It's been a long time since we've got like a mother-daughter scene, and there's so much emotion. Like I love the way Carly like tears up automatically. She hears something profound from her daughter that's hidden in some like weird story.
But then there's the part of her who is pushing her. How do you know so much about spies? Like, there's the angry part of her, the hurt part of her,
Yes.
and then there's the part that's trying to kind of, like, understand her and connect with her because they can't connect the same way because Jocelyn's no longer sharing her life with her mom anymore.
Exactly.
So, having Jocelyn go on that rant about her understanding Vaughn, I think was meaningful. But there were parts I was like, Jocelyn, because when they were hanging out, they were talking about how they've both been busy. And Jocelyn,
Yes.
because they acknowledge that, right? The initial statement is, we've both been busy. And then Jocelyn's like, yeah, so busy. But like, what have you been busy with? I was like, excuse me? And
Nosy
then
Nelly.
I know. And then Jason and Britta.
What did you think of the playing Axe Games montage?
Okay, so like I just like I'm not feeling it. So there's
Mhm.
my opinion, right, of feeling it, and then there's trying, and then there's what they're showing us. Okay.
Yep.
And we've talked about this, like the discrepancy between, let's say, the things we want and then the story they're trying to tell. And I feel like, okay, part of what they got right is that in the montage, it started to get cute and funny. And we know that Steve Burton does those comedy shows, and Britt brings the comedic element to Jade, which we've always loved about her. We like it when she pulls it off with Brad. We like Britt and Obrecht, which we got today. All of a sudden, Obrecht is back. She came back in a hallucination, and then she came back for real for Britt and decided, hey, we're gonna have scenes together again because the show can't survive us being mad at each other or me being mad at you.
Yes.
So I mean, like, it felt out of nowhere when she showed up talking about Rocco. I'm like, are we just gonna pretend this never happened? Where Obrecht
Yeah,
completely pushed her away. So I'm
totally.
glad that whole thing is resolved. But being that way with Jason in a montage, sure. At axe throwing, sure. but it's hard to see the long game. So I will say there's a few bits where they showed where it's like, oh, it's cute, they're smiling together, but I still don't necessarily like feel it. Because you go to axe throwing, he says all this stuff like, I don't care what Carly thinks, blah, 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 but he runs to her right away to talk to her.
Exactly.
And then we have a picking up of the intensity that Carly feels about who Jason's with. And I'm like, it's weird. It's
So weird.
weird. But then it's interesting because Jason was adamant that Brennan sucked. So as much as Britt's complaining about like, ooh, what does Carly think? I mean, technically Carly had to deal with what does Jason think in her relationship. And I don't think Britt knows that.
Ooh, good point.
And I think about what you said, like, you have talked about, like, Brit being a little immature, and
Mhm.
I don't know, like, I see it there, like, she gets there and she's noticing Carly's reaction, she's finding it funny, "Well, thank you for asking me out, thank you for convincing me to stay, like, you picked me," and I'm just like, I don't know, like, it's really like, I could see how Valentine and Carly could fit long term,
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
big time.
changes everything, you put them on the screen, there's a lot of chemistry there, and that changes everything. I like for me, you put her with Valentine, and it could change the course of the future of General Hospital. You've seen Sunny and Carly for so long. I find it reminiscent of Luke and Laura, where Laura became Laura and Kevin, and that's beautiful, Laura and Kevin.
Yes.
And then it became Luke and Tracy, and there was something so special about Luke and Tracy's relationship on the show. So,
So
I mean,
true.
these historical couples, I mean, they evolve over time, and I feel that Carly and Valentine have that potential to create something special, and you can kinda write out the rest and have this new epic love story at this stage in the game. As for Britt and Jason, while it's cute to see them, I feel like they exist in a moment in time. Kinda like how Sunny and Nina existed in a moment in time in
Yes.
Niagara Falls, but it's not like that. Even though Carly and Valentine are existing in this certain circumstance, and they're literally in an actual bubble in the attic, it's not a bubble situation. They're not existing in just a moment in time. They can exist beyond that moment. But I feel like when I see that montage, I'm like, oh, cute. But it's a moment in time situation. I cannot see how this can go. Like, if Jason wants to have fun, have fun. But how exactly would you be merging your lives together? Like, how are you going to create something? Like, we watched him create something with Sam, and that was an epic love story. That was a
Yes.
love story that spanned decades. They were together for so long, but even that was strained by his relationship with Carly. And while Britt's all
Yes.
fun and everything, she's no Sam.
Heck no.
So it's like it's hard for me to see, and I feel like I was gonna say Jason would have to change, but I feel like the Jason character has done a lot of changing, but, like, I don't know, like, what would have to happen? Like, Brit would have to change, they just don't really feel, like, on the same page at all, like, in terms of their lives. Like, I agree when Brad said they're different, but at the same time, is that what they're gonna do? They're gonna try to, like, bridge the gap. Because you have Brad being the voice of the audience, being like, "You guys are so different," and just pointing out all the more the logistics, not like, do I like them as a couple, but I feel like Brad
Yes.
is actually pointing out character-wise, "Hey, your characters are actually in 2 different places. How is this
Yes.
gonna based on the history of General Hospital itself?" So, if they're highlighting that, either they're gonna run its course or they're gonna make attempts in the future to kind of correct those things. But it's but
I
it's not
mean,
epic to me. It's absolutely not.
no, same. It's really not epic. I don't know how it's gonna play out. I was not totally entertained by the whole montage, so I'm just like really curious what the point is.
Yeah, and I think that, like I hate to say this because I never wanted to see it happen, and I'm glad it didn't. But in terms of chemistry, if he was gonna be with, like, a new generation, if you will, I
Hmm.
would say he had chemistry with Sasha. It would be weird because of the whole
Oh,
Michael
yeah, we
thing,
totally were.
but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say that, like, if I think about Sasha versus Britt, he had a lot of chemistry with Sasha on screen, like, they were in the same place.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
So I don't know. Like you, I don't know where this is going because, again, cold fusion, and it's going to lead somewhere explosive, and this is what I'm wondering, because you know how we talked about everything culminates at on Cassadine Island, and there
Yes.
could be, like 'cause there's gonna be half the town there. Because remember,
Oh,
we want
yeah.
Brit there. We want Lucas there because Lucas has to be confronted with the reality of his situation.
Yes.
But you got Jocelyn involved, you got Carly and Valentine involved, you got Jason. What happens if things go down Because last time he left her with a bomb on the ankle to go
That's
take care
true.
of Jocelyn.
Yes.
What if something happens and he has to choose again, but he runs to Carly, but like Valentine's got it?
Oh my god,
And
I love
then
it. I love
Brit
it
is sort of
hard.
once again, he's like gonna choose her. Mind you, Anna's there, so I don't know how that'll all go down. But I'm
Mhm.
curious because we have this to deal with. We're gonna have the breaking down of like Carly and Brennan's relationship. The truth is gonna come out. Jason's gonna become aware of everything that she's doing. That is gonna pull him back into that orbit. So I'm not sure where this is going.
Fascinating.
In terms of Gio and Emma, it went.
It did.
It went. Look, I am
It
all
went real
for yes, and I'm all for, like, love in the afternoon, having those, like, couples where everything is just dandy, you know?
yeah.
And I mean, Jage is pretty good at keeping up with the times, but I
Mhm.
did find it like, what? She has repairman handling things, and she's in her bikini in the wintertime, and then they're gonna have serious scenes talking about her grandma while she's in the bikini, and he's fully dressed, and I'm just thinking, "You're hot, it's winter, you could open a window."
Yep.
I was just like, it didn't
I was
hit for me.
surprised.
I
Same.
would have to say I was sort of surprised. You know, like
Same.
I have seen plenty of shows with more adult than these kiddos where the furnace is broken and they're wearing like shorts and a t-shirt.
Exactly.
So, and again, even if they were going to have that scene, and like that's the thing, when you have the young actors, there's always that moment where they have that love scene and that marks them into adulthood. You know, like all of them
Yes.
have gone through that. And it's always weird the older you are watching this
Oh my
because
god. I
Gio
fast
and
forwarded.
Emma,
I could not.
they're babies, and they kept it
Yes.
tame, whatever. But yeah, those beginning scenes, I was just like, "I don't know." It didn't feel like GH to me that that was there.
I agree.
It just surprised me that they showed it like that. But either way, they're happy. She misses her grandma, but she's with Chio.
Indeed, she is.
Yes.
My goodness. Molly and Cody are official. That's all I have to say.
Oh, that was so cute. No take backsies. No
Exactly.
take backs.
Okay, I gave away my favorite line earlier. You sort of gave away yours. Were
I
you
know,
giving
I'm sorry. I totally,
stars?
like, bombed the favorite line. It's, like, our own segment, and I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. It just didn't work out
You know
this week.
what? You know what? I think it's gonna be my segment because you have the cutie pie moment.
Yeah.
I always write down my lines and then I peer pressure you. And, I gotta
Yes.
stop doing that.
You
I am the older sister.
peer
I really
pressure
gotta
me.
I have to rein it in. It is my segment. And then we'll do stars together.
Okay, that works. What are your favorite lines?
I give mine away already. I only had one I
Okay,
wrote down.
okay.
We'll be better next week. Who would you like to give stars to this week?
I wanna give stars to Valentine,
Yes.
Carly together as a duo, not individually, as a together.
Absolutely.
The Joss Carly scenes, look, it's not a strong star, it's a confusion star. It's a star that represents how impressed I am at how convoluted things have gotten. So I'm gonna give a star to the director of the WSB because I'm like, wow, I had a hard time following now and I didn't even know it could get harder. So I wanna give a star to that because that's impressive.
Yes, I agree. I'm like, was I supposed to recognize this guy? Like, it took me a beat. And then he was in the other scene.
John is like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like one of his henchmen. He's like, "Who's in charge?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then we see him walk into Brendan's hotel. I want to give a star to Alexis's face and Diane's return. And new
Yes.
scenery! New scenery alert. When it
Yes,
was
tell
like
me more.
Michael and Jacinda scenes, they like I forget where they were. I think they're going to the Port Charles Grill. But anyways, they did like a scenery of like park of like Port
Yes.
Charles Scenery Park. Oh my god, guys. I think it's cool. I think they're
It's so
expanding.
cool.
I
It's
think they've
super cool.
yeah, more real estate.
Exactly. Okay,
Okay.
so what was your cutie pie? Okay, my stars go to the same people as you. On top of that, I'm gonna throw one to Elizabeth. The coma duo, they get a star. Um,
Okay.
Olivia with a gun, love it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, just Tracy in general, like every week, like for
Always.
years and years, I was throwing it out to Ava. It's like Tracy's my girl. She's gonna get a star every week.
Yeah.
no doubt.
I
What is your cutie pie moment of the week?
I have one. It's the no take backs of Cody and Molly.
Oh, okay, that's perfect.
I
I
think that
love
was
it.
cute. I think that was cute.
I am
You
so glad that my B story are finally making out.
But it's like, that is cute. I can't put Wiley because Wiley is the kid on the phone who basically solved a murder. It's like, it's not cute.
That's
It's
not
not
cute.
cute. Yes, you could get the Cutie Pie coloring book on Amazon. So if you know anybody who has kiddos or has a gift to give, it's a fun gift for little kids. So it's on Amazon, the Cutie Pie coloring book. You can check out our Instagram page for a link to Amazon. And also you can check out the Cutie Pie coloring book just to see like what other people have colored and these cute little videos that we've already made with some of their drawings at Cutie Pie Colorings.
Oh my gosh, folks, we've done it. We've talked about all things. We covered all this stuff. That's a wrap. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye
Bye.
bye.